What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. In this video, I'm going to talk about this explosion in right circles and right-leaning, alt-right, conservative social media influencers to politicians to Trump and his administration, and the push of and like openness to doing away with their political opposition, to put it lightly. Thank you for joining me here. If you are new, welcome to ClearTalk. If you don't mind, if you would like to check out, please check out more videos and stuff from the channel. Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. That would be amazing and would help out tremendously. Also, check out stuff from my other channels, JMDPLAY, Puzzling. Subscribe to those as well. That would be fantastic. It's free for you. Helps out all the channels. Helps me. Helps the JMD Nation at large. Yes. And if you would like to do any kind of support, there are links there above me, to the side, to this side, to this side. Shit, I'll get it right in a minute. I always mess that up. For whether it's ongoing or one-time support, any support you give is very much appreciated. I thank you very, 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 very much. And if you are returning, freaking awesome. Welcome back. Thank you very much. Keep coming back. So yeah, let's get to talking about this. So in the aftermath here of the Charlie Kirk shooting, the guy that has been brought, taken into custody as the shooter, and all of the kind of dialogue and talk around political violence, and this and suddenly the right acting like, oh yeah, we don't like this, but and so we're going to, and it's all the left. They say it's all the left. The left is doing all this political violence. They are the problem. And Trump, like Trump said, the extreme right, all they want is just crime to stop. They're just anti-crime. That's all the extreme right is. But the extreme left, they're all about crime, and they're killing us all. When studies and data shows that is not exactly the truth, for starters. It's like 79%, sometimes higher in some polling and some data, that political violence is done on the right, by the right, and only like 10-12%, something like that, of political violence in the past few decades. I think actually going all the way back into like the 80s or 70s. Is from the left. Like what I would consider political violence, like taking someone's life. Yes, like 79% or higher in recent history is from the right, done by the right. Only around 10-12% or so on the left. Now, what the left is guilty of, admittedly, what the left is guilty of is property damage. That's what the left goes after. Now, do I agree with that? Personally, no, I don't think it helps. I don't think it does any good. But the left actually doesn't so much agree or adhere to taking a life. That's very rare, very uncommon. Just not a main thing on the left. On the right, on the other hand, That is they actually care more about property damage than they do about life. Let's get all of this out. Let's get all that out of the way. And it's amazing here that you have the right that, not back when the BLM stuff and all that was like, let me also straighten that up. Property damage is not political violence. It's vandalism, but it's not political violence. Okay. But now, all back in the BLM and everything, we had, people, a lot of property damage, all this stuff going on, fires, stuff like that, which questionably, whether or not that was actually people that were on the left or actually people who had a problem with what was going on in the country as like a protest, like a harsh protest. I'm not so certain there. Still not certain about that. I feel like there was some actors involved there trying to make it look like it, but nevertheless, regardless, let's just say it is. In the way, in all of that, all you heard from the right is, this is cancel culture. Cancel culture is bad. These are woke people, and they're bad, and there's no sense, in hate speech isn't a thing. Blah 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 blah. Free speech, First Amendment, blah blah blah. Something that even Charlie Kirk himself spoke of. Like, hate speech is not a thing. Said it himself. But yet now, what are you hearing from the right? What are you hearing from Trump, Pam Bondi, Vance, from personalities on the internet like Laura Loomer, or I can't, from Stephen Miller? It's not a personality, but nevertheless, all of these people claiming that left extremism, cancel culture, like that we need to cancel all these people, doxing them. Oh yeah, that was something that the right had a problem with then. All of a sudden, they've all flipped on a dime, and they want to cancel people. They want to dox people. They want to go after their political, what they call, their oppositions. They want to shut them down, shut down the left. They're bad people, everything. This is a whole, they are using this situation as the pinnacle, like, we can't accept this anymore, so we are shutting you down. It is a full-on attempt for the right to try to shut down the left completely. I mean, they've little by little been doing this all along since Trump took over, and even before, but really since Trump took over this term. They've been little by little trying to shut it down, trying to hit at free speech a little bit on the left side. When we're talking about like Palestinians and stuff going on in Gaza, we got to shut that down. We got, we're going to go after the schools a little bit here. Shut that down. We're going to go after our law firms and stuff. Let's kind of hinder them a bit. And we're, personalities a little bit. We're going to, and now, what just happened? We are just learning Jimmy Kimmel has been canceled. Jimmy Kimmel. for something that he said the other night about the Charlie Kirk shooter, and then also tied in about Trump. This was like, I've heard this. I heard it. I watched the clip. It is extremely minor what he said, and basically just saying that, the right is trying to make the shooter out to not be on the right, which we've discussed this over and over on video in previous videos, that there's possibility that he at least at some point was right, could have still been far right, or he may have turned and went a little bit more to the left in his thoughts, opinions and whatnot. There's still no like full on understanding behind why he did what he did or whatever. But he says, and then what goes into Trump and how he felt, his feelings about in the aftermath of his good friend Charlie Kirk, and then plays a footage of Trump himself in front of the press, where the press asks him how he's doing in the wake of this, incident, wanting to a moment of like some kind of like remorseful, emotional thing from Trump, and he just says, "Yeah, I'm okay." And would you look at this over here? These people are, they're starting. The construction is starting on the ballroom or whatever the hell. Like, what? Just completely as if either he did not understand the question or did not hear the question properly, or he was deflecting, or just didn't give a fuck. I don't know. But Kimmel was just making that as, oh, that's okay. Yeah, he's in whatever fourth or fifth level of grievance or whatever. This is the construction phase. It's first the demolition phase, and he made this little joke that kind of looked bad on Trump. And then what happened? All of a sudden, fuck, are you kidding me? The FCC is going after Kimball, going at ABC, making threats about, what they can do, or what they're, that they can do this the easy way or they can do this the hard way. And so ABC's pulls Kimball indefinitely for right now. The man did some very mild free speech against the right a little bit, but mostly Trump. And suddenly he's being threatened by the government FCC, by Trump's FCC, as they've been doing to a lot of people. And then now he's canceled. The free speech is under attack in America. If you are in any way talking, like I am right now, talking against the Trump administration, talking against Republican conservative commentators or influencers like Charlie Kirk, in any way downplaying something happening to them like that, like if we are not feeling just overwhelmed with this remorse and oh my gosh, he was such a good man. No, Charlie Kirk was not such a good person. Now, I mean, let's separate his career and what he did for a living, separate that from the personal life man that he may have been with his family, being a father, being a husband, or whatever. I mean, he could have been very well, could have been a great father, or you can argue some of his, opinions on things would not have favored his daughters. That you can very much argue. And that one day they may have actually not been too happy with some of the shit he has said. But nevertheless, he clearly he was their father. He was loved. They loved him. He loved them. It's very much seemed same with his wife. Like that's separate from what the man in his career and what he did and what things he advocated for. And we can feel bad. And I expressed my like I'm thankful or thoughtful to his children and what they're going through, and like losing a father or whatever, the wife losing her husband, even though she knows who he was and what he advocated for. So I mean, I don't know, that one you can kind of toss up too, but nevertheless, the man advocated for stuff that was not. He advocated for stuff that actually wound up causing his own demise. So nobody should just automatically have to feel like they should show some sort of like. Now, again, I didn't say that we should, I don't agree with just flat out celebrating it like, yay, or anything like that. But the acknowledgement of who he is and that, I'm sorry, yes, he died. It was unfortunate the way he died, and it shouldn't have happened that way. And I don't agree with that being done as an act, a political act in any kind of way. Completely. Don't agree with it. I stated that over and over again. But for me to not, just because me or anybody else does not sit here and just talk all these wonderful, like, fluffy, bullshit about them, because that's what it would be, is complete bullshit, like the right wants to do and like the right is doing, putting him up on a pedestal like he was some fucking savior and such a amazing voice for the right, for the conservative movement, heaven sent or whatever. Sorry, no. So we have all these things going on. You had a website that went up that has supposedly been taken down. I'm sure they will attempt to put it back up, where people were being listed for doxing, for attack. You had Vance take over Kirk's podcast, talking about going after the political opposition. We're going to shut it down. You've had Trump talk about the extreme left and going after and shutting it down. Like, there is a full-on assault in play to completely take down and shut down any kind of opposition to their movement and their ideology. They want this to be a full-on conservative state. And I'm not talking about Mississippi. I'm talking about the United States of America. They want it to be a full-on conservative state, period. Shutting down all talk of any direction left of what they think right is. And I said that specifically. Anything left of what right is. And that includes the possibility of someone like Kirk, who to some was argued that he was not right enough. This is authoritarianism. This is dictatorship. This is what they do. They control the media. You've got them taking right-wing groups taking over media companies. They've taken over several of them, and then if they can't buy them out and take them over, then they threaten them, like they've threatened ABC and other agencies that won't buy into it, and to the point that they try to get people canceled off of it to make them irrelevant. They do that to the point where they have full control of the media, They have full control of, they get the buy-ins of all the rich and wealthy. So they have money unlimited and, influence unlimited on commerce and all that stuff like that. And they take over your, the judicial system, which they've been doing as much as they could with the Supreme Court. They trying to go to make it to where even your lower courts are like almost irrelevant. Everything they want to go through the Supreme Court so they can have full control over it and get everything changed and everything. They do all that. They go after the schools. They go starting with the colleges. They've done that all the time. They're going to little by little take over and ruin education all the way down to, all through all levels. They do all this to put as much influence and control as they can in all different levels of society and then the next thing is influencers and everything. They will go full on. This is the playbook. This is what they do. And this is what's happening right now in America. The far right, the alt-right, is doing everything. They have their time. This is their time. And they are doing what they can to completely take over America. And take away your freedoms. Take away your free speech, your rights. They want the right for free speech, but not yours. Because your free speech threatens them. And like we've already discussed, they have no problem with political violence. None whatsoever. It's there in historical data, proving over and over again. Because they don't care about your rights or even your life. You are not human. You are not good enough. You're not a good enough human. You're not a good enough American. What is always said? Oh, you don't like it here? You don't think that our way is the right way? Then leave America. Go to another country. They don't think you're American. They don't think you're not the good American. You're the bad. You're the ugly. You're the disposable. You're the one that we can get rid of. We don't need you here. We don't want you here. We want all proud, patriotic Americans, that wear the flag every fucking day on their shirts and on their cars and on stickers and waving and on the bars and because that shows you to be a good human, a good little American. Oh, and if you've got the Bible in your hand, then you're an elite. There's no American better than that. Even if you are holding the Bible upside down. Mr. Trump. That's what's happening. And we're warning you. We're warning you. This is what they do. You say that he's not a dictator, that he doesn't want to be, that he's not an authoritarian, that he doesn't want to be, but all actions are showing it. And people around him in his little bubble and sphere, and people that have had influence on him before and potentially still have influence on him, that's what they think. That's what they are going for. Yeah, just Laura Loomer, I think yesterday or the day before, putting up about how, yes, I want him to be a dictator like they claim he is. Yes, I want him to be an authoritarian like they claim he is. I want him to take out the left like they say he is. That is the mentality, just like we went in in the previous video talking about the mentality of the Deep South and that racism and stuff like that still exist. The mentality of a history that some argue is no longer existent is still here. And the mentality for authoritarianism, dictatorship, for complete conservative right takeover of this country, and not just take over, full control, like a lasting control. That is what they want. To control your speech, to control your body, control your religion and your beliefs, control your education and what you perceive as truth. We've been telling you all along. And if that's what you want, then fine. Just admit it, be out with it. That's what you want. But if you don't, and it's time for you to wake up and see it. It's time for you to be awoke. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, peace, clear talk with love. I'm out.